Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Sharon Bryant. I'm the school district clerk. It is my unexpected pleasure to open the meeting because we should not technically have a moderator. So, as the first order of business, because the moderator position is technically vacant, I am serving as moderator pro tem until moderator pro tem is chosen. So, at this time, I would like to open nominations for moderator.
I would like to nominate Vic Sokol for moderator, please.
Is there any discussion? Any questions? So we'll have a vote. If you would like to vote for it, please raise your right hand. Pretty clear majority, I think.
I, Victor Sokol, do solemnly swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the United States of America and the state of New Hampshire, and will support the Constitution thereof, so help me God. I, Victor Sokol, do solemnly and sincerely swear that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all duties incumbent on me as school district moderator for 1 year, according to the best of my abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help me God. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I will get a chance to use my PowerPoint tonight. I call the deliberative session of the Fremont School District to order. And let's please rise and respect the moment. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated. So, brief housekeeping rules. I think you all know when you enter to the rear of the hall here, the bathrooms. We're all back. There are signs on the wall. Once you go through these thresholds, we do ask that if you plan to go to the bathroom, that use the outside aisles. I'd like to take this opportunity right now to introduce members of the boards with us tonight. On the Fremont Budget Committee, I'd like you to, is Mr. Kimball here?
Mr. Kimball is not here.
I see, would you start with yourself, sir? Introduce yourself.
My name is Gene Portis.
My name is Patricia Martel.
Mike Margaret.
Thank you. Members of the Fremont School Board, Patty Dean, Chair of the School Board.
I'll have the board introduce themselves.
Andy Cole.
Thank you. Our school's attorney, Mr. Peter Phillips. Thank you. I'd like to get into the general rules that I've set for tonight's meeting. Many of you may have heard some of these before, but bear with me. I want to make sure that everything is understood. Would you go to the slide for general rules, please? We're using Robert's Rules of Order only as a guide. The purpose of the rules that we're establishing tonight is to make sure that there's a sense of fairness. I'm suggesting these as operating rules. I can be overruled at any time. And the way you do that is loudly from any location, say, point of order. When that happens, we'll stop the proceedings and address that concern. Voting tonight. you checked in with our supervisor of the checklist, only Fremont residents are allowed to vote. Registered Fremont residents. I hope you received your voter cards. You should have received a pink one and a green one. If we do hand counts, we'll use those cards. If there is a request for secret ballot, it needs to be signed by 5 voters who are present. If there's a recount, only upon request of 5 voters, and only after the results are announced, and it must be within 10% of the total votes cast. There will be plenty of motions you'll hear tonight. We'll only handle one motion at a time, one amendment on the floor at a time, to its completion. Once again, the only exception to this, if during that process there is a point of order, we will stop and we'll make sure that that is cleaned up. There will be no negative motions accepted. I will allow non-voters to speak tonight only if they are non-resident school, not particularly if they're non-resident school staff, but if they are consultants or experts that can add to this meeting and provide information that others present cannot. Initial presentations by any group will be limited to 10 minutes, and the speakers at the microphone, which is in the center of the aisle, will be limited to a maximum of 4 minutes. Please, when you come up, let me recognize who you are. All discussions must be conducted from one of our microphones, and that's the one. The only exception, again, is the point of order, and that can be made from anywhere on the floor. Look at me. I will recognize you and allow you to speak. I'm going to try to keep a sense of the flow of the meeting and the wishes of the body. When you go to the microphone, please clearly state your name and address so that the clerk can record it. And each speaker will only speak once until everyone has spoken. Pay attention closely to this one. Each subsequent speaker must add to the discussion and not repeat what has already been said. Questions should clearly be questions. Stay at the microphone until you have an answer. If any speaker would like to give a presentation tonight using their own, using our equipment, but their thumb drive or stick drive to discussion of any article, make sure that I'm aware of it pretty quick right now. Moving and calling the question. You need to be at the microphone to do that. All voters who are currently in line will be allowed to speak. No additional speakers will be allowed to get in line. Once existing speakers have spoken, the vote will be taken. No one can come to the microphone, speak to an article, and then call the question. The calling of the question must be the reason you are at the microphone. I don't hope that we use any of these misconduct laws tonight. I respect that we treat each other with courtesy, civility, and common sense. No questions or discussions will be directed to any individual. If there is misconduct that I sense, I will first give the individual a polite warning. I'll give them a second polite warning, and on the third, I will ask the person to leave. Restrict from reconsideration. As a final step, an article can be restricted from reconsideration. This will prohibit an article from being modified at a later time at the meeting. The first motion is to restrict from reconsideration, and the second can be made by any voter or the governing body. The vote is then made to determine if the motion passes or fails. Brief recesses may occur during the night. Don't go anyplace, as we're still in session. We're going to resume shortly after the recess. If there's an adjournment, it'll be potentially another date and time. I don't see that happening tonight. At the end of the meeting, when all businesses will be completed, there'll be a final adjournment. That's when we have a sense that all articles will be going to the ballot. Amended or not. Cell phones, kindly turn them off, turn them to vibrate. If you haven't done those already. And these are the rules I set for the meeting. We do not need a vote on these rules. As I said, if you have a question about a procedure, you can loudly say point of order. At the table, I listed, I had a brief handout that simplifies what I just told you, and that's how the meeting will be conducted. I would be remiss if I didn't thank Peter and Ida and Mike Radine, when they put this presentation together. They were inevitable as I knew for this particular job. Are you ready? All right. I'm going to read Article 1. It is for information only. Warrant Article number 1. No action is required in this article. These are the individuals who have filled out the proper paperwork and announced that they're interested in those positions and for the terms indicated on the slide. Those will be going to the second session, which is going to occur on March 11th, or Tuesday, March 11th. As I said, no action is required. Is there any problem if I rearrange the order of the articles, taking Article number 6, moving it to this spot right now? Can I have a motion to that effect? Moved, seconded. That Article 6, that these warrant articles be ordered. When we're done with Article 6, we will resume with Article 2. Any discussion? A motion has been made and seconded to reorder the articles. I'd like to have a voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. We will now draw our attention to Article number 6.
I'd like to make a motion to move Article 6.
Article 6 has been moved and seconded. When we read the article, then we'll open it up for discussion. Shall the Fremont School District raise and appropriate as an operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant articles and other appropriations voted separately, the amount set forth on the budget posted with the warrant or as amended by the vote of the first section, for the purpose therein set forth, totaling $11,862,986. Should this article be defeated, the default budget shall be $11,939,108, which is the same as last year, with certain adjustments required by previous action of the Fremont School District or by law, or the governing body may hold one special meeting in accordance with RSA 40, overlays 13, 10, and 16, to take up the issue of revised operating budget only. Note, this operating budget warrant article does not include appropriations proposed under any other article. This has been recommended by the school board with a vote of 5-0, and recommended by the budget committee, a vote of 5-0. 5-1, excuse me. And speaking to this article will be Greg Fraser.
The amount on the slide is the right amount. It's not the red of $11,860,000. They're going to do it.
Let me correct the first amount, $11,856,986. I believe the second amount is correct. I'll make that change right here. Thank you. Greg? after we go to the budget, the school board decided. So, after the budget to the budget committee did cut $195,023. How's that? Okay, so after the budget to the budget committee decided to cut $195,203 from the school budget. The school board did meet afterwards, and we decided to support the budget committee's member in the hopes that it will help us with other warrant. There's a lot of warrant articles out there tonight that are going to do good things in the budget. A lot of reductions that should help us. So the board is asking to support the number that's represented to help us to keep going with our raising test scores to get the other articles passed to focus on students. And some of the challenges that we had in the budget paper was the high school tuition going up, the healthcare costs, the affordable care act, we had that, the sports staff, which we have plans this year, to fuel costs. So the two drivers of the budget increase, high school tuition, you can see there essentially the year that keeps going up, 2, 4, and 10% for the special, and healthcare insurance. So here you can see that we added healthcare insurance for the sports staff this year, and the healthcare GMR went up by 9.2. Later you'll see under the contracts that we get to shop around the healthcare, and we teach in sports staff. And this is the distribution of the budget. You can see there's all the same bits. Questions? Concerns? Comments? Thank you. Any discussion? I'm ready to call the question. Do I have a motion? Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Mary calling back, 121 Tuck Drive. Just have a question. This is a budget that's either less than or is the default budget. Why is there a $1.42 tax rate increase? Why is there an increase expected when there's going to be less money to be spent or the same amount?
The tax impact relates to last year's budget versus this year's budget, and our default budget includes any contracted increases that we've experienced this year, which were some of the things that Greg had on slides listing the increases. So the budget this year is higher than last year's budget, so therefore we have to increase the taxes to pay for it.
But isn't yes, there are those contractual increases, but aren't they, so they're not known yet. Aren't they just kept as a potential unknown? You've got a budget for known figures.
Whatever we're contracted to pay, we put into the default budget. And some of, like the insurance companies give us a guaranteed maximum rate that we're going to be charged, and it could be that high, so that goes into the default budget. Any guaranteed maximum rates go into the default budget.
And so the same thing is known when the high schools increase?
The guaranteed maximum rate goes in, yes.
Well, that explains it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Scott O'Hare, Center Circle. So the difference about 700,000, give or take.
difference of $528,209.83.
I see there's no further discussion. We'll move on to the next article. This article will go to the warrant as stated.
Can I restrict that article for reconsideration?
You can, I hear a motion.
I motion to restrict that article for reconsideration.
Your name, please?
I'm sorry, they put Angelo O'Connell on 63 Bristol Road.
Okay. A motion has been made to restrict the article from reconsideration. Is there a second?
Point of order, do we not need to vote on that article?
No.
Second.
Second?
Sean Cullen.
Motion has been made and seconded to restrict Article 6 from reconsideration. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. The ayes have it. The article is restricted from reconsideration. Article number 2. Bear with me as I read it. We'll have the correct amounts. I do have the correct amounts. Okay. To see if the Fremont School District will vote to approve the cost items included in the collective bargaining agreement reached between the Fremont School Board and the Fremont Education Association, which calls for the following increases in salaries and benefits at the current staff level. Fiscal year 2014-2015, estimated increase $52,264. Fiscal year 2015-2016, estimated increase $67,377. Fiscal year 2016-2017, estimated increase $68,283. And further to raise and appropriate $52,264 for the current fiscal year, such sum representing the additional costs attributable to the increase in salaries and benefits required by the new agreement over those that would be paid at current staffing levels. This has been recommended by the Fremont School Board by a vote of 5-0, recommended by the Fremont Budget Committee 6-0. Projected tax impact in year 1, 14 cents per thousand. The article is moved and seconded. I hear discussion.
This article is about our teacher contract, and it actually is a teacher contract that we've all been waiting for in this town. We've had a positive collaborative decision between the Fremont School Board, the Fremont Budget Committee, the Ellis School staff, and the support staff, which supports the passage of the successfully negotiated multi-year contracts for both the teachers and the support staff. Some of the reasons that you'll want to support this contract are real important to the district for years to come because it's going to save us a lot of money in the future. We've been able to eliminate the evergreen clause that is currently in the contracts, duration clause. It's something the town's been asking for years, and the teachers have agreed to do that this year. Additional language in the contract gives us the ability to shop for insurance, which we've not been able to do in the past either. We always were locked into an insurance company and we were stuck with their increases, whatever they were. So basically, if this fails this year, we'll be paying the insurance company 9.2% more than we paid them this year for the same benefits. You're basically taking 9.2% of the premium and throwing it out the window and getting nothing more for it. But if you pass the contract, we don't owe them that because we're changing insurance companies as part of the language of the contract. So, talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, and tell them to vote yes on this. This is a huge savings to our district. We've actually simplified the health insurance options to one plan, which the teachers have agreed to. We limited professional days to 3 per year, per person. We've limited the number of teaching staff out of the building for professional development to 3 per day. We've also provided fair and reasonable raises. That's why there's a cost listed on the article. Basically, the first year, we freeze the pay steps, but everybody gets 3.25% increase. The second year, everybody goes up a step, but there's no COLA. The bottom step goes away and the top step is added at 1.9, so that we're basically bringing the pay scale up a bit to make it more equitable to the other teachers in the state. And this year 3, same thing as year 2. Let's see. I'm sure that covers it except for the 3-year contract, which is nice because our support staff is going to go to it too. And that's all I've got. If anybody has any questions?
Just one more piece of information. If this contract is passed, how much savings would it be or estimated based on the health insurance proposals?
Sue has that number. It's like, I don't know.
Overall, or,
Overall, because it will affect everybody with the change.
yes, I think,
Did anyone hear the question? No. The question is, how much of a savings will there be if the contract is passed on health insurance?
Yeah,
this is broken out by CBA, and
If the contract is passed, the total savings will be $36,675.22.
Any further discussion? Yes, ma'am. Yes, please.
Mayor, just a question. I was curious what, if anything, the teachers are getting from the contract, whether there were any changes for them, pluses.
Other than what was shown on the slides? Okay.
They're getting raises.
Were you looking for something specific? Were you looking for?
Yeah.
Well, tell me what it is.
Well, just typically, during the negotiation process, there's usually like give and take. So I don't have the entire contract in front of me to look at, language, those types of things. So I was just curious.
Okay.
There is one other thing. We also, the retirement stipend eligibility was changed from 20 to 15 years of consecutive full-time employment in our district. So I think that would be something we already need to talk about.
Any further discussion? Yes, sir.
John Shelley, 33 Palm Drive. On the savings of $36,000, is that per year or one time? And if the next question to that is, if it was not passed, what would be the cost? Because this isn't actually a savings, it's still costing us. Of 14 cents per thousand per year, correct? So what would be the cost to the Fremont taxpayers if it was not passed? $36,000 is that a one-time savings or that per year?
I'd have to look into my crystal ball, Joe, honestly, because right now we're being faced with a 9.2% increase to the health insurance premium that we currently have that we're locked into with the language of our current contract. So if we don't get a new contract, we're locked into that language forever until we change it by getting the voters to pass a new contract. And so that 9.2%, I'm gonna, it's how much?
It's in the budget now, the budget.
I know, and it's, I think, I wanna say, Sue, it's between 67 and
increase.
1,000, because it's 9.2 on the premium we're paying now, increase. And then, so basically, there would be no contract next year, so I guess if they went up another 9.2, it would be another 9.2 that we're gonna spend if we don't pass this contract. So I think, basically, it's gonna show savings for years to come because we're not locked in. We can shop anytime. When an insurance company comes to us and says, we're gonna charge a 9.2 again, the teachers and the school board are gonna say, we'll shop around, thanks anyway. So you're saving that, you're saving what you're locked into today, because you can shop tomorrow, if this passes.
Are you leaving the LBC?
Yes, we're doing school care. That's what's in the contract right now, if it passes.
So I understand the savings on the insurance, but I guess the piece that's packed into it, the raises.
That's correct.
So that can't be split among the negotiation. That's a package together.
Correct, it's negotiations instead of that.
Any further discussion? I see no further discussion. That article will go to the warrant as stated. Article? Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I lost my Angela O'Connor, 63 Bristol Road. My question is, when was the last time the teachers had increases under the contracts?
Any teachers in the house can answer that? 6 years?
6 years. So to me, I understand there is some increase. It looks like the savings from insurance will cover about 2/3 of the increase, if you will. And we're going to be increasing the teacher salaries, or the staff salaries who definitely deserve it. And then also, we're going to not have, hopefully, as much turnover. We'll not have to replace the turnover, which is also an additional cost and expense to the community, as well as consistency for the children and the school staff. So to me, I think it's a great deal. Quite honestly, I think that the teachers give a lot here as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Abby Dobson, Emerson Drive. I also just wanted to point out that the new health insurance has an increased out-of-pocket cost for the teachers. So we are getting a raise, but we're also paying more for our insurance out of pocket, not out for our premium. But so
For co-pays, et cetera, and prescription drugs, okay, we understand that. Article number 3. Shall the Fremont School District, if Article 2 is defeated, authorize the governing body to call one special meeting at its option to address Article 2 cost items only. This was recommended by the Fremont School Board 5-0, recommended by the Fremont Budget Committee 5-1. I believe, Ida, you want to speak to that article?
I was going to move it.
Okay.
I mean, it's self-explanatory. Second.
Any discussion? I see there will be no discussion. The article will move to the warrant as stated and to the voting. Article number 4. Are the amounts on that slide correct? To see if the Fremont School District will vote to approve the cost items in the collective bargaining agreement reached between the Fremont School Board and the Ellis School Support Staff. Let's see. AFT Local number 6223, which calls for the following increases in salaries and benefits at the current staff level. For fiscal year 2014-2015, estimated increase, $23,479. For fiscal year 2015-2016, estimated increase, $14,680. and further to raise and appropriate $23,479 for the current fiscal year, such sum representing the additional costs attributable to the increase in salaries and benefits required by the new agreement over those that would be paid at current staffing levels. Recommended by the Fremont School Board, 5-0. Recommended by the Fremont Budget Committee, 6-0. The proposed tax impact for year one would be 7 cents per thousand. Andy Kohlhofer will speak to that article. Tammy moved. Second. Andy Kohlhofer will speak.
Okay, the purpose of this contract is, you see there are raises in the contract. We have to remember in the last contract that teachers have, there were not really no raises, there were no step increases. So everyone basically got the same salary. There were no increases at all. This based so that we felt that it was important to at least, since they went without essentially that gave the SAU some savings. Because if they had a step increase, we would have extra costs to the schools. So actually, we had technically had savings in the contract last year. So now we are just sort of adding them and trying to catch them up this year. So basically, they're pretty much where they would have been at if they had the regular step increases and regular salaries. So we think it's worth considering and worth passing. I think the other thing we need to remember is that one of the issues when we went with a co-op proper district, we tried to co-op with the Sanborn Regional District, one of the issues they had was our contracts for the teachers and the paras, that it would cost them too much to upgrade our contracts to equal what they pay. So I think if we're really looking to become a cooperative school district somewhere, it's really important that we take a look at what we're paying.
Any further discussion? I see there's no further discussion. The article will move to before the voters. Article number 5. Shall the Fremont School District, if Article 4 is defeated, authorize the governing body to call one special meeting at its option to address Article 4 cost items only. Recommended by the Fremont School Board 5-0. Recommended by the Fremont Budget Committee 4-2. Moved.
Second.
Seconded. Andy Kohlhofer will speak to this if necessary. This is prescribed language by law. We really can't change this. Article 5 will move to the voters. Article 7, we've already done Article number 6. To see if the Fremont School District will vote to raise and appropriate up to the sum of $10,000 to be added to the previously established expendable trust fund, known as the Ellis School Buildings and Grounds Maintenance Fund. This sum is to come from the June 30th, 2014 fund balance available for transfer on July 1st, 2014. No amount to be raised by taxation. Recommended by the Fremont School Board 5-0. Recommended by the Fremont Budget Committee 6-0. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second? Moved and seconded. Sharon Girardi will speak to this article.
This is the same article that's been on for the last couple of years. It's the money that is left over in fund balance is used to this money is used for, for the building, so we support you passing this article. Thanks.
Any further discussion on Article number 7? Article number 7 will be moved before the voters. Article number 8. Shall the Fremont School District accept the provisions of RSA 190:20-B, providing that any school district at an annual meeting may adopt an article authorizing indefinitely until specific rescission of such authority, the school board to apply for, accept and expend, without further action by the school district meeting, unanticipated money from a state, federal, or other governmental unit or a private source which becomes available during the fiscal year. Recommended by the Fremont School Board 5-0. Recommended by the Fremont Budget Committee 4-0. Do I hear a motion? 4-2, excuse me, 4-2.
Motion to move on Article 8.
Second?
Second.
Andy Bullhoff will speak to this article.
Oh, again? The reason why we are putting this up for vote again this year is because the school is actually, we are eligible to receive a number of grants, or at least apply for grants. And at this point, we can't. We can apply for them, we can't have the money. The other thing about applying for grants is that you never know if you're going to get it. So you can't budget for it. And you never know exactly how much you're going to get, because sometimes they dig huge. And so we can't really budget for it, so it would be considered unanticipated, well, it would be considered anticipated revenue, because we did put in the, we did apply for it. But if you look at so far, this year, there's $1,052,834,000 in grants that we could apply for. So we're able to, and it's only February. All right. So the school, there's no guarantee the school would have gotten all that money, but even a small portion of it. There's money there's grants we can apply for to put in a science lab. There's grants we can apply for to insulate the new addition, which is insulated. And so this would not come out of taxpayer funds, and so we could improve the school while helping keep the budget under control. So I think, and if you look at the number, certainly, the grants wouldn't be used to replace something that we're already spending for, but we would certainly add enhancements to the school. And so I think this is an very, very important warrant article. We're really hoping that people do support this and vote for it. And please ask your fellow citizens and taxpayers to vote for this, because I think that anyone who's really concerned about improving our school, this is one way we can do it. We can't do it now. Thank you.
There's one more slide that shows actually the examples of what we're going to be missing out on. Yeah, my apologies. That's
Oh, yeah. There it is.
So I'll take a look at it. And like I said, I got an email this week with some more grants that are available. You can to look at it. So, but this sort of shows you what is available. And there's actually some that came up like last June that I think last June, July, I remember. I remember the one that we applied for by July 30th. So this also, the other thing too, we are thinking of turning this, opening up this school as a shelter. And, grants for a generator and grants for improvements, like maybe putting some extra bathrooms and stuff in here would be, and showers would be a wonderful thing we could do if we were going to open this up for shelter. Currently, we can't access that kind of money. So there it is, so take a look.
And I think we should probably make this available if we want it, so you can take a look at it. Is it, yeah, it wasn't newsletter, yeah. Did they ever get the newsletter? Okay, so that is in there. All right, so there it is.
Does the school district have a grant writer?
No.
Figure it out.
There's something on the board.
Yes, ma'am.
Very small Madison Drive. Well, that's part of my question. Why can't we apply for grants? Is there some law preventing us?
We can apply for grants, but because of this, was it the warrant? Yeah, because of the way the ordinance is now in town, we can't accept the money. We would have to have a special school meeting. Every time we applied for money and got it, we'd have to have a special meeting, a delivery session, present to the voters, and we'd have to have some voters and people go and vote to accept the money. And if we applied for 4 or 5 grants, we would do that 4 or 5 times.
But other town boards hold a small meeting to accept grant money. Why does the school board have to call a...
Because the warrant article, the vote we have right now. Okay, right now, what the way the law is for the town right now is that we cannot accept any money. We cannot accept any money outside of. So what happens is you write a budget. Like let's say the budget this year is $10,850,000. We cannot spend more than that legally. So if we apply for a grant for $50,000, currently, because we can't spend that money without having a special meeting because the current law in Fremont won't allow us. What this does is this changes the law in Fremont so we can do what other school boards do. Right now, we're not allowed to do that. This would change the law in Fremont so we can do what other school boards do. We can write for grants and then we can accept the money. We have a public hearing and say we've got $50,000, $25,000, $5,000 for a year. We'd like to accept the money and spend it on such and such. We can't do that right now.
So there is a law, you're saying?
Right. There is a law in Fremont. The law in Fremont reads that we cannot accept any money outside of our proposed budget.
And this one warrant would change it only for that purpose of accepting grant money?
Well, for any money that that's unanticipated.
It can't be grant money when you know you've been awarded it. You can't put it off into the next year's budget.
Well, the problem is the way the grants come up. We could, like, there was a grant available, let's say, we had to apply for it by July 30th of last year. That money would have come, so there's no way we could put that money in the budget. We won't know if we got it. If we put, let's say the grants for $30,000, if we put that $30,000 in the budget, and we didn't get the grant money, your taxes go up by $30,000.
I understand that, but once you know you have it,
Right.
then you put it into the next year's budget.
No, because a lot of the grants have to be spent that fiscal year.
I think there's a little bit more of an explanation that might help, is this RSA allows us to do what we're asking to do. This was passed several years ago for our district, and then we had a citizen's petition come forward that rescinded our permission to do it, and now we're asking for it again. But right now, as we sit, we can't apply for grants unless we put it into our revenue stream in our budget for this year with expenditures against it. And most grants will not allow you to, they won't grant you the money if they don't think you can accept it, or you might have the possibility you can't accept it because there are other districts who can accept it right away because they have this RSA in place. But that's why it's confusing. The RSA that we're asking for allows us the latitude to accept grants above and beyond what we might have predicted we would get if something opens up.
Would there also be money needed to be put into the go after more things, you need more, you hope to have good writers to.
Right, we don't have anything in the budget right now because this isn't passed.
Right. And not that, but a lot of times, most grants, writers can write their own fees into the grant. So you don't have to budget a salary. I mean, you can budget a salary for them and pay a grant writer. At this point, I don't know if that would be effective for the school because we might end up paying someone more full-time than we're grant money. But most grants allow you to charge a fee for writing the grant, and that's how the person is accounted for. And the other thing is, we could form a grant writing committee about citizens who know how to write grants, and they could certainly, apply for the grants for the schools, and then if the money comes in, we could accept it, not accept it. We can do that.
It just seems to be a very cloudy
Right.
type of reasoning here.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for the explanation.
Did you understand, did we explain it fully to your satisfaction? We want to make sure that you understand.
I guess it's because there had been a specific reason
Right.
for the wording that says you cannot accept, where I see other town boards, just in a regular meeting, having that on the agenda to accept such and such monies.
Right, we can't, actually selectmen can in this town, but the school board can't because of the way the warrant article, the way the citizens petition is written. Yes, sir.
I had a question to the BudCom. I see there's two no votes on this, and I was just curious if those folks are here and they can speak to why they don't support this article. I think the article makes sense. I never agreed with this 2 years ago when it was brought up. I'm happy to see Andy's going to have a change of heart. I'm hoping that maybe the board can speak.
I was one of the authors of the warrant article, along with one of the members of the school board now. So basically what it was, the select board at that time thought there was going to be some additional state funding coming, that the school had underestimated the money. And the way the law read is if they got the additional funding, they could spend it the way they want. And the money was proposed someplace between $150,000 and $180,000 that they thought there was a difference of. So we drafted this article not to punish the school from getting money. That if they were going to get the additional money, they had to explain to the town how they were going to spend it. As the article reads, you can accept the funds, but before you can spend them, you have to have a public hearing, explain how the monies are going to be spent. So they can write grants, they can apply for funds, but to spend it, they have to have a public hearing if it's over $5,000. So there is more to that article than was written, but the article itself is written specifically for this one instance. Personally, I don't care if they rescind it now at all. It doesn't really matter to me anymore. In all honesty, but that's why the article was drafted, petitioned, and the people voted.
Okay, there's one other board member that might not be here.
I think it might have been Charles. I'm not positive. I don't know who the vote was.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Just for clarification, it isn't a public hearing, it's an actual special meeting we have to hold. And because we're asking two, then we have to have a ballot. So we're talking about a $5,000 cost. If we were to do it the way the current law reads in our town, and that's why we're asking to just be able to have a public hearing for anything over $5,000 instead of a special meeting and a secret ballot every time we might be able to get a grant.
Yes, ma'am.
Sean Kroll, Integrated Road. I just have a question. I've attended numerous board meetings, I'm sure a lot of people know. And if I remember right, there's tend to be a section on the agenda that covers these grants. Do you tend to discuss them as a board and open on what you're anticipating, what you're applying for, so that anyone in the public could watch it on the tapes that you make and at the meeting themselves?
Thank you. Yeah, we actually had talk about setting a grant writing committee, but because of this, the law that currently reads, we figured that we could write grant, but we couldn't accept the money. So, but if this is passed and grants would be written, we would have to hold a public hearing for the acceptance of grants and talk about what the money was going to be spent on. A lot of this grants are very specific. I mean, you can't just get money spent anything you want. They tell you write it for a very specific purpose, and you have to spend it on that specific purpose. So, in fact, we ran into a problem earlier this year. Was it $10,000? Yeah, we are a focus school with $10,000 from the state to attend a conference about focus school, what that meant for school, how to prepare for it. We couldn't accept the money, so we couldn't send people to that conference. So that put us behind as far as putting together an agenda to attend to the issues regarding this being a focus school. Yes, sir.
Michael Ray, 58 Folsom Avenue. So 2 years ago, this was put in place, and does that have to be rescinded first? The previous one, before this can be?
No, we discussed this with our lawyer, our attorney, esteemed attorney right here. And he said basically that this would simply automatically rescind that. Because I actually brought up that question, that we have to put language in here saying to rescind it. He said, no, this would simply replace it. Yes, sir.
On this article, if it passes, and the grant is accepted, can the funds be redirected to any other purpose than the funds being proposed to be listed there?
No. We probably get sued by the grant writer if we spent the money on something other than what the grant is for. They make us pay it back.
Now, are any of these grants any matching fund grants? If you get 20,000, they need you to put 10,000 or anything like that. Is that kind of tax?
Well, yeah, some are matching fund, but if it was a matching fund, we either would have to have a budget line, which we don't have in our current budget, for like, say, $50,000 for matching grants, or we'd have to find it somewhere in our fund balance, or transfer it out of another line item in order to do things. The other thing is simply not apply for matching grants.
Well, so you're saying you don't need any authorization to spend to match that grant?
Well, if we had the money, and if we had a line item in the budget that said where we had so much money set aside for matching, to match grants, we wouldn't, when we passed the budget, we would be approving us of spending that money to match grants.
And if you've done this in the past, do you have any examples of that in the past?
I'm not aware of the school applying for grants in the past. I mean, I wasn't on the school board. Like I said, we did have an issue this year where we couldn't accept $10,000 from the state to help us prepare for focus group. No, we were not allowed to accept that extra money because it wasn't anticipated.
I guess that's the concern, is if it's a matching grant, you have to match the money. That's taxpayer money that we have to match.
Right.
And that's what this article is saying, that you can do that unauthorized.
No.
Right?
No.
It says
we can accept money.
Yeah.
But if it's a matching grant, if we have to come with the matching funds for that, we would have to budget for it. If we have a budget for it, we can't accept any matching grants. We can't apply for any matching grants.
So there's no unauthorized means that can happen?
No, definitely not, no. All our meetings are the public can attend, all of them are recorded, there's minutes for every meeting.
Yeah,
And if we if we accepted any money, there was a public hearing saying, you know, we've got so much money from SAU and this is what we spent, there would be a public hearing, the public that would be posted.
Just reading this, it says unauthorized, indefinitely. So when I see that, I'm thinking, okay, so you can match, you have the money, you can take taxpayer money and match that grant.
We can't, no, we cannot, the problem is we have to have a line item in the budget for matching grants. We don't have that, so legally we can't, you know, we can't match grants.
So most of these grants that are up here, have you actually applied to any of these grants?
No, we can't apply to anything right now. But we actually get a newsletter. I get a newsletter, a grant newsletter that lists a lot of these grants, and the ones that these are all non-matching grants. These are fully funded grants.
Okay, non-matching grants.
No.
And has there been any research into hiring a grant writer? As, you know, whatever they bring in, actually they get a percentage of?
Right.
If they have that, I mean, that's an issue. It's something to think about.
Right.
Just having someone do that for the time.
Right. That's yes. Right. I mean, you actually, the town and the school board could come together and, you know, have one person write grants for everybody. Right now, this town doesn't even want to write grants either, except for the town administrator. You know, sometimes the police chief will write a grant, that sort of stuff. That takes a lot of time. So really, at the town, there's probably a lot of money that both the town and the school miss out and don't have any money.
All right, great. Thanks.
Tammy Bond, 21 Conley. I don't have a question, but I wanted to just add sort of a comment, speaking from experience in terms of writing grants and spending many years in nonprofits, that typically I would love it to have many grants be matching, but there aren't many. Typically with a lot of the grants, especially 2- and 3-year grants beyond that, they're looking for sustainability. So hopefully in that time period, you're able to look for some other money to support that grant into years beyond that. So at least in my experience, I've never come upon matching grants, and typically for new entities applying for grants, they're looking for that sustainability piece first and foremost.
I mean, and I know the school board, you know, our concern has always been, since I've been on the school board, is being careful with grants that we accept. Because some grants do require, they go for 3 years, like some federal grants, you know, you apply for the 3-year grants, and if it's for a position, they require you to hire that person in the 4th year. And so we take a real close look at that, and, you know, we're going to avoid that sort of thing like that. Because we, you know, we don't want grants to increase our obligation down the road. A lot of these grants that we listed really are for a lot of them are for one-time expenditures. They're not the ongoing grants. They're like I said, for insulating, we're putting in rebuilding a science lab. Those are the type of things. Right now, as a school board member, I personally not interested at all in applying for a grant that's going to cost us
Any further discussion? Article 8 will be moved before the voters. I have 2 more things that I have to do required by law. Actually, one by law. The second session of the annual meeting, the voting session, you are hereby notified to meet at the Ellis School, 432 Main Street, in said district on Tuesday, the 11th day of March, 2014, to vote by official ballot on Articles 1 through 8 as amended. Polls open at 7 a.m. and remain open continually until 8 p.m. to act upon the following subjects. And they list the articles in the warrant, which we've already read. Any questions? Due to the impending snowstorm, forecasted conditions and safety of the community, the town's deliberative session will be postponed to its snow date of Thursday, February 6, 2014, 7 p.m. in the Ellis School Gymnasium. Signed Mike Rydeen, Fremont Town Administrator. This was posted today because of the storm. Item? You have one item?
She's been instrumental in making a lot of great changes for our district. She works tirelessly on spreadsheets for us and number crunching and newsletter preparation and folding and sealing and all the other things that go with it. She's just been such a great asset to our school district, and I'm very sorry to see her go, but she has set her sights on a select women's position, so we'll wish her the best of luck with that during the voting season. The board wanted to thank Sharon Darby for her years of service, and we wanted to give her a little gift.
Thank you, everybody. It's been my pleasure to serve the community on this matter.
Congratulations. I see there is no further business before the legislative body. Do I have a motion for adjournment? I hear a motion. Do I hear a second?